Ham Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou. Tuesday nights. Thanks everyone for tuning in. The NBA is about to start the playoffs. This is a great time because the last week. Now I will say this: I think the way they got 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 playing, it puts more teams putting out an effort at the end of the year.
Yes,
I will say
I
that,
agree.
but but you guys got to know, like the other night. I think Cleveland lost, and someone was like, "Man, Cleveland." I said they sat all their starters. They're
Yeah,
already, you know what I mean, and just like
yeah, they
they don't care. Yeah, that's the second straight. Yeah, why didn't you bet on that game? That wasn't a good game to pick. I mean, yeah, they're
when you clinch, you don't play your starters. When you clinch your spot, you don't play your starters. You let them get the rest because they're going to need it for the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, and why even take a chance
Right,
on a take a chance on an injury or anything? We'll get
right.
to that. We're going to talk a little bit about this NBA. Now, I will tell you this: uh, Dallas with AD and everybody back, formidable,
Yeah, pretty,
formidable.
pretty,
Yeah,
pretty solid.
yeah,
Pretty solid with AD and with AD, Clay, and Kyrie back. Now that they have their full arsenal, they can probably make some noise and probably upset some people.
yeah. I watched him 2 nights ago when I was watching AD, and and it's so funny the way you called it. And AD does not want to be a power forward. That is not what he wants to do. He is not gonna. Um,
No, he doesn't want to be a center.
yeah, center.
He,
Yeah,
he
center.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
because it is not so much about being a center, it's doing that dirty work. And
right.
and when you when you down under that rim, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might go up, they might come down the wrong way, might step off, you might roll off somebody's ankle. I think that's the reason why, because he knows that it's easy for him to get
Injury.
injuries. And he
Yeah.
don't want to play that five because you can easily get one of those ticky tack injuries,
Yeah.
going at it under the rim, trying to get rebounds and things of that nature. But he could play that power forward type of,
Power.
swing, that swing guy. He can
Right.
maneuver around, and he has more control of he doesn't fall into that category of easy injuries as much as he do battling with the Go Bears and the Jokic and those guys of the league.
Well, let me ask you this: in the Eastern Conference, you know how we ended up? Cleveland, Boston,
Mhm.
number one, number two. Is there anybody else that you're kind of surprised at that you're like, they had or they didn't do as good as I'm surprised that the Pistons are made it to the sixth seed, which is good. It's been a long time. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
that's a good thing.
um
Yeah,
yeah, it's a good thing. The Heat fell off. I mean, you got rid of your star, but they still
yeah,
play well. They got to do some. And then you got the Bulls. I tell you what, a couple years ago, the Atlanta Hawks were right there. Trey had made a really good run in the playoffs, and I was like, oh man, they're. But the last two seasons just hasn't been that great. I mean, he is. I mean, he is. I'm talking about. Um, he needs some more support.
yeah. They got to do some. They definitely, the front office definitely has to do something or make some changes, or and it's going to be tough for them because Atlanta really doesn't have much to offer as far as in talent to get a great, you know. Um, it's kind
Trade.
of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to go trade with them. They're going to have to build, and it looks like they're going to have to build around their young star because it's not a lot of suitors out there for Trey Young. So it ain't like
Yeah.
you can trade Trey Young and get a bunch in, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, due to free agency of last season. But yeah, it seemed like that the Atlanta Hawks should be further along than where they are. And I don't quite have the answer for that. Is it upper management? Is it changing coaches all the time? Let someone come in there and establish a culture, and then you work with that. I don't, I'm confused on how
You
to
say,
solve that problem.
I mean, firing a coach. Look at Denver. Fire their coach with a couple games left in the season, and
Yeah,
they're struggling. They're struggling. I mean, it's just not the now. Me and you. I mean, you've made it very clear that the bench isn't what it once was. I just think I don't know. I think the team's going through some nucleus problems,
yeah.
and hopefully they'll be able to work it out. They'll be able to work it out in the playoffs. Um, now, and we'll break all that down. Let me go
Mhm.
here. Pull
Yeah,
up
because there
and
was rumors. There's rumors and rumblings out there about the whole they tried to put it on Russ, saying that
yeah,
situation with him getting more playing time, and then you see the results of that, you know.
right,
But that was just speculation. No one can confirm,
right,
that really happened. That's just speculation or maybe locker room talk that someone put out there. But they were trying to piece that together. Like
yeah,
the playing time for Russ and the minutes that he's getting, he was in there for 12 minutes and he cost them that one game. Well, they're saying that he cost them that game with the sometimes, and it always happens. You can count on a brain fart in a certain situation that'll cost him a game.
yeah,
Because when he was with the Lakers, he got crucified for it.
yeah.
And you know, it just seems like there's a sense of awareness that get lost or last minute thinking or maybe thinking too much. Not sure, but those were some of the rumors that were circling around, but no
So,
one can confirm that.
and then we'll get back to the actual playoffs. I mean, tomorrow
Yeah.
tomorrow
Yes.
we have seven
Tomorrow
and
we
eight
have
playing, and now nine
right.
and tens are playing, which will be the Atlanta Hawks playing
Mhm.
Orlando Magic. I like
Right.
Atlanta. I like Trey. I think Orlando is going to pull this one out.
I
I
agree. I
like,
agree with you on
yeah.
that, Tony.
I just man, I really wish they could they could get him some help down there because I just like him. I'm not I'm not the biggest Atlanta Hawks fan, but I like him and
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, I've become more and more fans of players more than I am of teams. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I like that, him, and I do like him. Seems like a real
I
nice young
agree.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just need to get him some help. And now the bottom tier: Toronto, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Charlotte's, and the Wizards. And there ain't really a lot you can say, but they need a lot of help. Um, a lot of help. The Wizards. I mean, they won 18 games. I mean, Charlotte won 19 games. I mean, that's not putting fans in the seats. That's for but it
Mhm.
does make a cheap place. If you want to watch and enjoy a NBA game, there's two ways of looking at it. You go, oh, the Lakers are coming in. That's great, but those tickets are going to be high. But when the Washington Wizards are in, you pretty much can pick where you want to. You want. I know it
Yeah.
sounds terrible, but still a good time, and
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
to go.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
No
time.
one's fighting
Good
you.
time.
Yeah,
Good
for those
experience for
tickets.
you and your
Yeah,
son or your daughter
yeah,
or the
yeah.
children.
That's whatever.
Do it for the
Yeah,
kids.
it's a great. Yeah, it don't have to be. But that being said, um, now you go over to Western Conference, and we have the
Mhm.
Oklahoma Thunder. Um,
OKC.
OKC. I mean, and Houston won 52 games, okay? And they
Mhm.
finished 16. They finished 16 games out of first place. And Houston's tough. Houston's real tough. The
Mhm.
Lakers are playing the Lakers are playing well. There's no doubt about that. Denver's struggling. The last 10 they went 5-5. The Clippers are playing good. The Clippers are playing
Yes.
very well.
When
I was kind of whoa.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Kawhi's healthy, when Kawhi Leonard is healthy and that game is on, they are a problem. They are a problem. If all three, if Paul George, Kawhi, and James Harden were all, if they were all healthy, instead of they could. I predicted them to go at least to go far in the West
Sure.
because Kawhi is one of these players that has a smooth game. Like his game is very smooth. It looks like you should be able to stop what he's doing, but you can't.
Cannot.
And it blows my mind because it's not like he's doing 360s and
No, 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 no.
he's not acrobatic. He just has a
Methodic.
sound game. Yeah. It's
Methodic.
and
He
it's
is very, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a sound it's a sound play of basketball. I know a lot of people don't understand what I mean when I say a sound. I mean that everything that he does looks easy. It's not easy to do what he does, but he makes it look effortless. And you're looking up like, how did he get that shot over me? All he did
Right, right.
was but when he's healthy, he makes it look so easy and you can't do nothing with it.
Correct. Correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct. I
So I
definitely
agree with you, Tony. I agree wholeheartedly about the Clippers.
now the the 7, 8, 9, 10. Dallas is playing the Sacramento. Um Memphis is playing Golden State. I like you guys gonna be I just don't think Golden State it's one game though. It's not a series. You know what
Right.
I mean? So this is a one game to play to go on, but I just think the Warriors have the same issue that LA has. They're not a huge team, and Memphis has got some skyscrapers. Um, Minnesota Timberwolves got some skyscrapers. Oklahoma, we know they got. I mean, and I'm not saying they can't. I
Mhm.
mean, small ball was it, and now that switched around, and and like I said, one game is one thing, like Big Lou always says, but a series is another. It's
Mhm.
you can beat them once, or are you going to beat them four times? So, um,
Right.
and I think that's what will. And at times, I don't know what would Curry this year. I've had him did a lot of player props. And I mean, one night it's 54, the next night might be six, and you're like, I don't know. It's kind of Jimmy buckets is
Yeah, it's
solid.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yeah.
buckets.
That's solid.
17 points. Yeah, it's going to be.
You're good.
It's
Yeah.
he's the man. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of and then the bottom tier, the Utah Jazz, and we talked about this before. 3 years ago, they were right there, had a chance at winning the title. They're in the hunt. Yeah. Uh, the Pelicans, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just they need, you know.
Every
Well, you just have to. You have to really wonder: are they,
top
they
to
got it?
bottom. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's got
They
to
got him.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Everything's
then
got to
they had
change top to
AD.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yep. And AD and DeMarcus Cousins. And
Yes.
some good wing guys. And they had some good guards over there. Plus,
Yeah.
so I don't. It's got to be the front office. It's got to.
And then
Everything. It's got to change.
the Spurs, they have one best people in the NBA, and um, I think they're being very methodical about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
they haven't got him anyone yet, but I think it's a matter of time. I think they're going to make another play for to be to have a really good team to win. I mean, for 20 years they were relevant. Five
Kevin
championships. Yeah, yeah.
Kevin
But
Durant location.
ah,
Kevin, Kevin,
not a bad.
Kevin
Yeah,
Durant.
yeah, not
Maybe
a
for the
bad.
Phoenix
Yeah,
Suns.
yeah. It could. I mean, it could be because now Phoenix had the Phoenix. I know was that they could have been in the playoffs. They went one for
Mhm.
nine. Um,
Wow.
because really they were in the 7-6 spot. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
lost 9 games. It's like,
Yeah. They got rid
really?
of that coach too.
Yeah, they got rid of the coach. I
Yeah.
don't know if all that was. I mean, it's always easy to blame the coach.
That's the first thing you do.
Yeah,
That's the
first thing
first
you do,
thing you
you
do
gotta.
is it's coaching.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
always
you got
coaching.
three
There's no.
you got three
Let
future
me
Hall of
pull up.
Famers and we didn't make it to the playoffs. It's coaching.
Yeah, but one thing we've learned is that look at the New York Yankees for a long, long time. You could buy all the best players. Sometimes they just don't gel. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Sometimes
It's too
they
much.
just, yeah, sometimes you find you have superstars and then there's other players that excel with them. You know what I mean? And it's like, where'd that guy go? Well, he's a stud. He's really good. But he's not, but he's a great role player, great
Right,
special
right.
teams, great rusher. Bring him in. Um,
Hmm.
so the Mavericks, so it's the Maverick and the Sacramento Kings. Um, Those are tough. I'm gonna have to go over the games are tomorrow. I like some of the overs. I'll tell you another thing I've been doing pretty good with. I talked about it last week is the overs, the live overs, waiting for the game. But you got to be paying attention to where the over is and
Hmm.
how many points. They're tight, but they've been winnable. Won 2 out of 3. Still positive. Um, a positive run. Let's go to okay. So breaking it down, we know the Clippers and the Nuggets are playing each other, and we know the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the Clippers. If the Nuggets um, cannot change their what's going on with them, I think the Clippers beat them in 6. That's how good I think the Clippers are playing right at this particular time. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are the same, Tony. I think that the Kawhi's return was perfect because he returned in just enough time to get his legs under him and get his rhythm back. And with him and with just him and James Harden and their key role players that they have, they can make some noise in the playoffs. And they can catch Denver slipping. Now,
Yes.
what the Clippers now the question I have is do the Clippers have enough to slow down? Now, Jokic is going to do what he does.
Right. Yeah, no,
There,
there's
there-
no
you
doubt.
know, there, there's no way around that. Do the Clippers have enough to where they can have make the supporting cast win those games, as opposed to Jamal Murray, the main hitters, Jamal Murray, Jokic, and those guys. Can they make that bench? Can the
Right.
Clippers make the bench of the Nuggets? Can they make that? Can they make the bench beat them, or will they? Or will they just will Jokic go wild, just shoot his threes? Jamal Murray, he's going to shoot the ball. I just hope that his shot is on. If his shot is off, Clippers will get him. Clippers are going to get him.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that. I just think that I know the record doesn't show it, but I just got a feeling that the Clippers bench is a little bit better, more experienced, because we know Russ will check. He always have a moment, and that's what kills you. A moment can cost you can cost you some points.
So there's a couple things on this, and that I totally agree with you. Like I said, the Clippers are hot and the Nuggets are not right at this very second. But this is gonna put, this is makes great teams make. We're going through a rough spot. Let's dig it. Let's come out of this because the Clipper. I mean, the Clippers are a very good team, and the Nuggets are a very good team. But it just seems right now if the Nuggets can't get out of their funk, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Just
right.
and that's what because the last deal, it's just been like, man, that's kind of just kind of rough. Like I said, this has been kind of a little bit, and they still had a great year, but I guess there's been some times it's been like, man, they're just not gelling, and there were some injuries, and like you said, the bench isn't what the bench um, is. I mean, look at Milwaukee. Even
Yeah.
Milwaukee's yeah, they just
Hmm.
um. So now let's talk about your Lakers Timberwolves in a
Okay.
series. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that the Lakers are going to have to shoot, or they're going to have to score a lot of points because they're playing against a bigger team, uh, and there's the Luka defense liability that you have. You got to work around that. JJ Redick's been doing a good job. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
been doing a good job with that. Trying to work around his lack of defense.
Right.
But if they're scoring, if they're scoring points and Luka's three is good, and LeBron's gonna do what he does. But if Reeves and Luka shots are on, then they can use small ball, run the score up, and do it that way. But it's just the isolation part of the game. How they, and I think they're going to go at Luka defensively,
Oh, there's
and
no
and that's where their help has to come, and the switching has to come. But I think that they're going to concentrate more on getting that lead, building a big lead, and just retaining the lead throughout.
so do you think what am I on? You think Timberwolves just come in and try to manhandle, not manhandle, but play it, make it tough coming on the inside, scoring
Yeah,
any points, um,
yeah.
and then
You're
then
gonna
try
have
to
to, yeah. You're gonna have to
expose
be able
his
to jump shot.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's the um well, and that's going to be a good series. And in the years ago, not even years ago, but we've been on the show.
Hmm.
We always used to say, "Hey, the Lakers always, for some reason, start off slow. They used to
Right.
for the last couple of years, and the game one was even if they won the thing for some reason, game one was always kind of like a. This year's Lakers are a little bit different because
It's a
I
little bit
think,
different. They're gonna have to
yeah,
come out. They're gonna have to come out with winning on. You can't use game one to fill out your opponent. Can't
right.
do that. Not in this series. You don't have the key players for that. You don't have the bench for that. So you got to come out. You got to come out scoring. Got to score. Got to hit those buckets. Got to hit those long range. Got to hit those threes. They're long. They got to play. They're gonna play small ball, but they got to play. They also got to play outside the perimeter too. Those jump shots that got to go in. Those threes that got to go in. You got to get your score. They got to gain a significant lead so that they can't go big and beat them because that
Okay.
takes time. That takes time off the clock. And I believe the Lakers are going to run an up tempo pick and pop type
Oh, yeah.
offense. Keep them rolling so they can't get set and run defensive plays while they're doing their transition. So it's going to be an interesting chess match to see. I think the Lakers can beat them, but they're going to have to out. Well, that's the key to every basketball game. You got to outshoot them. But the Lakers got.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
think they should. They're going to have to build a lead, build a certain lead that is going to take the Timberwolves the whole game to catch up to. So
Yeah.
Luca and LeBron and Austin are going to have to be on fire at tip off to get that lead going.
Speaking of on fire, um, check out the props because Luca's going to put up some points. There's no doubt. Him and the check out LeBron. Obviously, LeBron. There's a couple people for 3 pointers. How many attempts at 3 pointers? 3 pointers. But if you can get Luca under 30, what I mean, like under 30 points, because they like pushing it. 30. They need him to have 30. That's always a good one. Look for some assists. Um, it's a the game's going to be a good. The same thing with Same thing with uh, the Nuggets. There's going to be some good player props on there. If you're not that comfortable with picking game, when if you don't feel that comfortable picking the win, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Right.
find a good player prop, something that's not too crazy, and kind of watch, because you know what's so crazy is they give you the average. You know, like I said, sports betting is very different now. I mean, you could pull up the averages, and you already know what's a good bet. I mean, you should be able to tell. Well, he averages 27. They want him to do
Mhm.
30. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like that's not a bad. You know, it ain't like they're asking him to score 50. Um,
Right.
but I will say, so when we get back, we still got a couple minutes before we're going to break, and then we'll cover the Eastern Conference because it's very complex there too. It's there's definitely some there could be some heartbreak in the Eastern Conference. And again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank Big Lou and everybody at our the radio station, our KM family out there. And like I always tell you guys, hook us up and go to Facebook, go to Sportsbook, go to KM Radio. And like I said, there's advertisement, great shows, 24 hours a day of great music. The radio station offers a lot, especially community functions. We've done the block. We've done that block party. I don't know how many years. Anything going on in the community, KM Radio tries to stay in the mix, doing something. We did this stuff at the boys. I call it the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA's, the rec centers. There's basketball
Yeah.
games. KM Radio's there, usually doing the music or the announcement. Cargill Park. You know, there's so much that the radio station offers. Give them a call. Like I said, if you got something going on in the community, or you need a community announcement, you're having something, give us a call. Not just us, but give the radio station a call. All right, guys, when we get back, Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference. This is where I'm leaning towards. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe the champion comes out of here. I don't know. It's going to be tough, but hey, we're just going to try to make some money and have a good time. All right. Like I said, thanks everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Tony G, Big Lou, the biggest radio station in the land, where we go ham, K Ham Radio.
We go ham.
Ham, ham, ham. There you go. All right. Ham Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Lou, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, the sports book. Getting over to the Eastern Conference, just covering the Western Conference. Eastern Conference is Cavaliers are waiting to see who they play. You got the Pacers and the Bucks. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about that matchup? Let's pull it up.
That's gonna be a good matchup. That's
I
gonna be a
think
good
so too.
matchup.
I think
Pacers
this.
and Bucks. That's probably gonna be one of the premier matchups. I think as far as basketball, you know, playoff basketball. I think that's because they're even right now, so to
Yeah.
speak. So to speak, they're even right now as far as talent. But you still got Giannis. Dame's out, but you still got Giannis. But how much can Giannis do without his help?
True.
Because
Now,
Dame was his main guy. So how far can he go?
without him.
Without him there, and you don't have the guys that you had when you went on your championship run.
So Indiana, Milwaukee. Indiana actually had a better record, but the last 10 games they finished 8-2. So they
Yeah.
both are playing well. They're not, and that's not always a factor, but it is. It's good to go in playing well. I mean, like Cleveland, they've won 6 out of the last 10. Boston went 8-2. The Knicks did a little sliding too, but we'll get to them. Um, yeah, Indiana, Milwaukee. This is going to be. I think this is going to be a really good series. Um, Also, I think this is um, New York Pistons. Let me see. See if we can pull that up a little. What we got? See what we got some action at. So you can get Giannis at 32 and a half at minus 117. This is some points. I'm just uh,
Hmm.
Miles Turner at 15 and a half, Tyrese Halliburton 19 and a half, Brooke Lopez. Now one thing that I like we all kind of look at different stuff is Giannis 7.5 assists. Stuff like that. I like that. Um
Hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton, I mean he's at 10.5, but you got to look at their averages. They're one
Hmm.
third. Actually, it's one minus 113. Giannis is one minus 109, which isn't a bad number. But look at them. Like I said, check out your different sites.
Hmm.
So they're giving Indiana minus 4.5. So you can get the Bucks plus 4.5. Indiana plays pretty good at home. The over's 225. Um, might think I'm crazy, but if Indiana can get on a run, I think they have a chance of beating them in the series. In
Yeah.
my Yeah, I think because like you said, Giannis. I mean, there's Giannis is great, but I mean he's got to have, and the bench hasn't been terrible for him. But somebody on that bench is going to have to come alive. I mean, what I mean. Somebody's going to have to step up and go, "Hey, I'm gonna
Hmm.
give you 12. I'm gonna give you 12 or 14 tonight." I normally don't, but I just to kind of help them. Um,
Yeah.
but I think with the Pacers, um, minus 4.5, minus 115. I don't know. Like I said, I like to do a lot of live stuff. Like I said, you guys can do.
Hmm.
I mean, however you want to do it, that's cool too. I just like to
Right.
sometimes get in on the live only because sometimes there's just a little bit of an advantage, and anything you can do in sports betting and get a little bit of an advantage. Whether or not they didn't change the line fast enough, or they didn't change the over, whatever. Because believe me, they'll change it against you quick. You'll be like, "Oh, gee, I should have went there." But yeah, should be a good series, money to be made. The Knicks and the Pistons. Now, what are you thinking on the Knicks and the Pistons? Because the Knicks kind of, I don't know, they've in the last 20, they I don't know, they had some trouble.
Hmm. It's like they look on paper, they should be a better team. On paper, they should be the two seed. On paper, they should be the two seed. On paper, it's as far as like what their starting lineup is and the moves that they made in the offseason, you know, um, I just feel like they should be the two seed or they should be better than they are because they can't beat the one and the two seed. You know, especially with the talent that they have. I just feel it just feels like to me they should be further now. The number three spot is nothing to joke about,
Not at
but it
all.
just feels like to me with the moves that they made, they should be at number two, or at least beat, you know, I just I just feel it just feels like they should have won more of those games against the Celtics and the Cavaliers than they did because of the
Right.
talent. You feel like
Correct.
the talent that they have, the way the team is built, it was built to, beat out those two teams, but it just didn't happen that way. Third season, nothing to laugh at, but at the same time, it's going to take a lot to get
So,
those guys to knock those guys off their respective spots in the East.
and the Pistons, like I said, they were struggling a little bit there at the end. Respectable team.
Mm-hmm.
If the Knicks do win, like I said, check out your player props. Always live action, April 19th. Um, you know, then you're not writing anyone off, but it would be a pretty big upset if the Celtics or the Cavaliers lose to a 9-10. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
nothing against them, only because it's possible. And don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
with with some injuries, and you never know what can happen. But
Hmm.
prospectively looking, it's hard for me to not say, hey, when we go to the Eastern Conference Championship, it's not going to be the Cavaliers and Celtics. I mean, do you
Right.
see? I mean,
Bar
bar injury. Now we got to say that because
bar
people will.
injury, yeah. Bar injury, I can't see it. It's 1 and 2 to me. It's Cleveland and Boston. I can't because because Dame is hurt and because New York doesn't eh, I'm not sure what it is. The, my fanboy brain tells me that when you've got talent like that and y'all don't win, it's coaching.
Right.
Or it could, or scheme. There's something going on there. I just feel like New York should be miles ahead of where they are. I mean, like I said, I've said it twice already. Three seasons, nothing to laugh at. But
No.
I just feel like New York needs to be, they needed that one or that two. It should have been one or two this year. And maybe it is, and maybe it is coaching. Or maybe it's just not maybe the talent's not gelling. Maybe they get it together next season. But will they
All
go
the
far in the
Knicks.
playoffs? I think so. But
Yeah, they have. I think they could. I mean, I think they could. They should beat the Pistons.
Mhm,
Um,
it
do
should.
I think? Yeah, they should beat the Pistons unless there's an implosion, which we've seen
Mhm.
before.
You're right,
Um,
absolutely.
it's happened. Don't get me wrong. And then, but do I think they can beat the Celtics? I think they can beat them a game or two. I just don't
Yeah.
think. And this is why I'm saying it. You watch basketball the whole year, and I get it. You're a Knicks fan or you're a Piston fan, but there's a point when you have to go. That team is better than us. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're just better than us. It's just, and
Right.
I believe me, as a fan, sometimes you just gotta go. That
It
team
hurts.
is
Oh,
it
it
hurts. Yeah,
hurts.
I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever. I'm just saying, and it's like the Pacers and the Bucks. Um, Whoever wins that, and the Cavaliers respectively beat the 9 or 10, whoever they're going to play. I
Hmm.
mean, for the Bucks or the Pacers to beat the Cavaliers in in a series, it's going to take a lot of. It's going to take a lot of. Um, you know, Cleveland was they had the number one record there for a second, and then they went on a little bit of a skid. And
Hmm.
everybody was like, "Oh, I mean, well, gee, at some point there's going to be a skid." Um,
Yeah.
but they play. I mean, they play great basketball. I mean, they play great basketball.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll tell you this: I couldn't even get into it. Where I don't want to skip too far. I do not want to skip too far, but if Cavaliers and Seattle and the Celtics make it there, I can't even fathom in my head like I don't I don't even know. I mean I really don't. I mean I have to
It's,
really look. I have to really look at it and see. We got a lot of
yeah.
basketball before we get there, but and then you
Hmm.
take the Western Conference
Right.
and you look at the Thunder and you look at the Rockets. Um, those are two bad to the bone. I mean, I lean, I said it backwards. The Thunder's is up. I mean, other than not a injury, the Thunder's going to be. Now, I will tell you where I think the Thunder does lack a little, and I agreed with you when you said it a couple weeks ago. Maybe the maturity level. I ended up making them sound like they're immature, but just the experience of maybe going to a
Experience.
yeah, a
Yeah.
Western Conference five.
Playoff
Yeah,
experience. Yeah.
that's where I give the Clippers or the Nuggets, the Lakers or Timberwolves. Um,
Hmm.
the Lakers are going to have a little bit tougher. Well, I don't know. It's hard to. They're both. It's gonna. They're both. Wherever you're at, you got a tough road to go to the Western Conference. Um,
Hmm.
but the Thunder's is a powerhouse. But that is something that maybe and that's something where the Nuggets have experience in the playoffs. They just got, and so does the Clippers. Let's be honest, they
Yeah,
got them guys.
Clippers do too.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, the Clippers do. I mean, James Harden's never won one. Is that correct?
never won one.
Never won one. So I mean, but
Never won one.
he has a lot of playoff experience,
Yeah.
and we've seen him have meltdowns in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so it is possible. Um, I just I've been watching the Thunder play, and I'm not really a Thunder fan, but just watching them play, and it's like,
Yeah.
God, leave
Yeah.
these people here,
These guys, these guys are the real deal. You know,
yeah,
these guys are
they
the truth. And if there's any going to, if there's going to be any spoilers as far as the Western Conference, that's going to be my spoiler right there. Even over Houston, and the reason why I say that is because uh Dylan has now. I love Dylan's fiery. Uh, I love his intense play, his fiery play, get in the head of players, get them off their game. That's part of his job. Besides playing excellent defense, but he also has to have a certain discipline to where he can affect the other player or the player that he's guarding without getting the ticks, without the antics, without the extra. You can still play the way you play without the extra. Now it's going to slip a little bit. I think Draymond is reeling in a little bit. He's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
having the crazy outburst to hurt the team, but he does everything to take players off of their game. Dylan
Sure.
can be that guy, but he's a little young, a little reckless right now. But once he learns when to turn it on and when to turn it off, then he will be effective playing that way. Right now, he's a loose cannon with it, and it gets them more in trouble than it does help them.
They got, like I said, it's this is that time of year, and like I said, there's going to be a lot of money to be made and a lot of props, and it's easy just to go, oh, the Thunder's going to win it all. Not necessarily. I mean, I'm not, I mean, right now looking at, I mean, they're when their game's on, but there is room. There's little things like Lou's pointing out that you go, oh, this could happen, that could happen, and they could get rocked. And Houston's playing great basketball also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, like I said, so are the Lakers. Um, the Lakers. I mean, the last really from the time Luca arrived, it's been like it's
Yeah,
really been something. It really
yeah,
has.
everything. Yeah, everything's cranked up. And the bench guys are getting their confidence up. I still feel like the Lakers don't have a championship bench, but
They're making do.
yeah, they're making do with what they have, and they're making small ball work. They're making it work effectively, just like Golden State. They don't
Yeah.
have a lot of big. They don't have too many bigs on their team either, but they're making it work by playing defense, sound defense, and scoring.
Right.
The
Right.
po-
Right.
the shots got to fall with both teams, Lakers and
Right.
Golden State.
Right.
Because of the way they play, shots got to fall. If the shot don't
Yeah.
fall, they're gonna lose. So they got to be on fire almost every game, both Lakers and the the Lakers and Golden State.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like I said, can't wait till it starts.
Yeah.
And like I said, just watch, shoot, break down your stuff, and like I said, play on different sites because you always got different odds, different points, and they vary a lot. A lot of people ask me, and I'm telling you, it could be 32 over here at one minus 120. It could be 33 over here at minus 160. I mean, it's crazy sometimes what
Mm-hmm.
the actual number is from casino to casino. So let me ask you
Right.
this: what crazy? There's been all kind of crazy football stuff going on. I mean, ain't nothing. It's all. hearsay, she said, and are gonna
Yeah,
give him.
all hearsay. We don't know where Aaron's going still.
Yeah.
Uh, Due to Derek Carr's injury with the Saints, Spencer Rattler is gonna he's getting the reps. They're being rumored, but they're trying to send Shador everywhere. The rumor is he may fall to 9 where the Saints can get him. Now
Okay.
Shador in New Orleans, I can see Shador in New Orleans before Aaron Rodgers in New Orleans because they can't do nothing with him. They're in cap hell already, and you
Right.
got a $50 million quarterback with a shoulder, with is a shoulder. I think it's a shoulder injury.
Right. Yeah.
I'll do my research to get that, but I think it's a shoulder injury that that we're finding out about now. So, with that being said, I root for Spencer Rattler. I think he's one of those guys that's gotta sit like Jordan Love. He has all
Right.
the intangibles. Right now, the game is too fast for him. So, you know, to maybe get a vet in and have him sit, and watch the game so that he can learn, pre-snap and how to read defenses and things of that nature. Let that come to him on the bench through some guidance. And then I can see him going out there and doing his thing. But he's not ready now. The game is still too fast for him. You can tell by his play last season. So we got that going on. Pittsburgh still don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, but they're making this a whole. He,
I just don't get.
I
I don't.
have, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Personally, Tony, I don't get it. I don't
I
get
mean, there.
why teams go through this media circus with this guy. He can't win you a championship. He's not going to win you a championship. He'll get you a 500. He'll get you a winning season. He's not going to get you a championship. And he really doesn't have nowhere else to go but Pittsburgh. So why drag this out? Are you dragging it out so you don't have to go to voluntary? Are you still on that? Or can you get out of your own way, come in, and just be a football player?
Yeah.
No
I
one
mean, last
leave your
last.
retreats and all the things all the personal stuff that doesn't have anything to do with football. No one's
Right.
telling you that you can't be that guy, but let's just leave that for the off season. Be a football player. Show these guys that, hey, I want to help the Pittsburgh Steelers win. And how do
Right.
you do that? By working with this historic organization,
Right.
that does not believe in getting rid of that. They stick with their people.
Yep.
So don't go pour, your hot sauce all over their grits. It's like don't bring your bad stuff in,
What
to
about
ruin this organization.
what about with Watt? What's going on with that? They haven't given him a contract. Are they really looking? So many things are talked about now that I don't jump on them. Are they really looking to
Yeah.
maybe get rid of him?
Yeah, because I don't think they are, but there was a rumor out there about maybe putting him in a trade with Brock Purdy to get Brock Purdy into Pittsburgh. That was just a rumor that was put out there. There was no fire underneath that. Why would they do that? Brock Purdy is not
Right.
your future, you know. So why would they do that? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get signed. I'm pretty
You
sure they're
saw
going to work
Flack
something out with him.
Flacco went back. He signed a 1 year contract.
Yeah,
Flacco, yeah. So he got
yeah.
signed. A lot of people think that Deshaun Watson will never play again.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so
that's
either. I think when Deshaun was his last season in Houston, that Deshaun Watson, that's the last time we saw that Deshaun Watson.
right.
This guy that we're dealing with now, I don't think he's gonna bounce back from that. No one's gonna want to sign him, especially for the money that he got out of Cleveland. And they admitted
Yeah,
that, yeah, that was a bad move. Well, you could have been thinking about that. a while back, you know. But,
It's it's yeah, me and you've talked about this before about some of these quarterback deals that can make or break organizations, and that's one that's going to haunt them. That and Wilson over in
in Denver.
Denver, but they, like I said, they just happen to get Bo Nix, and so
Hmm.
he's not expensive right now. You could give him a little this, a little that, try to unheave some of that Wilson money, because it's
Hmm.
going to be a while. Um, you got Bo Nix for a couple more years before anything, unless something stupid happens and they win a Super Bowl. Um,
Right.
and I mean, that's anything's possible. It was the same thing with Wilson. I mean, Wilson went to a Super Bowl. I mean, he wasn't even having a big contract. He didn't make any money until after
Yeah.
all that. But I mean, he was something. And I just
Hmm.
I just think that um, yeah, Denver signing the old quarterbacks. I mean, getting Flacco for Tyrod Taylor, all them guys for $4 or $5 million to be a backup to help your starter. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I think that's a smart move. I mean,
Yeah.
you're hiring another coach, another teacher to work with them, and I think that's not a bad uh, that's not a bad thing. I just
Right.
like one thing that a lot of people go, man, you don't really get into the draft. I don't, because I just think it's more of a lot of hype. I mean, man, until you get on that
They
field
have it. Yeah.
and make
Until you actually make plays on the NFL level, I mean, there's not much we can say. You
no,
don't you have no tape, or all you have is college stats. And we all know that college stats are college stats. Doesn't
right?
work in NFL. Bigger,
You know,
faster, stronger.
yeah. Like Deion Sun, do I think he's going to be pretty good? I mean, I think he'd be pretty good. I mean, I don't know about great. I mean, I'm only going off of his
Yeah.
statue and his physique statue and what they
He
look at. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady, he wasn't
right,
much to look at in the draft. Purdy,
right.
Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, we can go on and on.
We can
There's a
go on
lot
and
of
on.
guys that get overlooked. And then there's
Hmm.
other people that come into the league and they were the stud when they got there and they were a stud when they left. I mean,
Right.
it really depends a lot on their physical, their emotional, if they got a good structure around them. There's a lot of factors. You know what I mean? Things
Hmm.
that um, go on. That's why, like I said, draft night's great. I mean, you watch it. I mean, I'm not telling you not to watch it, but I don't want to know who went in the fourth round at number 28 or whatever. It's like what? Because it's
That's that's
still,
that's practice
yeah,
squad.
yeah, it's practice squad.
You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes there's some good values out there.
Yeah.
On
Hmm.
linemen and people
Hmm.
that played at. And there's a lot of, like I said, but I just, like, to me, I'm not the. It's not that important. I mean, I don't like. I'm not that big in the draft because to me, then now they got a. And I know Deion and them, they're used to handling, but that kid's going to have a lot of, kind of like Ball in the NBA. Remember the ball?
Hmm.
Remember he had the baller brand? I mean, they were just,
Yeah,
he
the
put
ball
the,
brand, and yeah,
yeah, put the target on them. You know what I mean? Because now everybody's like, oh, you're not. And then after he finally stopped talking and let things calm down,
yeah.
the boys are doing okay. The boys are doing, what I
Hmm.
mean? But it was him. It was like he was just trying to be in the limelight also. Um,
Yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
fame is a drug. Fame is a drug, and once you take a sip, once you take a
yeah.
sip, it is
There's
over
no
with
doubt
after that.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't see him as much as you did. But and I don't think Dion's gonna. I don't know. It's a lot of it. I mean, there's always going to be cameras around Dion. He is Dion. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, his opinion. But I mean, he's a very intelligent man. He knows how to play this game.
Mhm.
Financially and physically. He knows how to play the game of the NFL because there's many different games of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to
Right.
see who gets what. There's a lot of teams. Who are the Titans going to pull? Um, just whatever.
Yeah.
There's about what are the Giants going to do? What are the
Right.
Jets going to do?
Are they gonna draft
Yeah,
Cam Ward? What are they gonna
yeah.
do?
You know,
I think the Giants are gonna sign Travis Hunter. I think that's just my prediction, but I think
Yeah,
they should go after the quarterback. I think they should go after Cam
yeah.
Ward if he's there.
If he's there, go after him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they need a lot of stuff. I mean, like I said, they're kind of a dumpster fire. They need to really revamp.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really honorable. I don't want to use the word honorable, but it was a. I mean, it was a tough franchise, and it just fell off very, very. I mean, it fell off hard, and it happens. Coaches move on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
All
coaches
right,
move on, and yeah, and they paid their quarterback
Saints,
too much money.
and they pay their quarterback too much money, and that's my friend
It's
is
not
the
even there
rest of
anymore.
the story. So, all right, guys, our time's running out. I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Tony G, Big Lou, KHAM Radio, the Sports Book, KM Radio, where we go. Ham.
Hell.